Welcome to STARCARD Podcast. Here at STARCARD Podcast, we get a glimpse at the age of Aquarius ahead of us. We also examine the worlds of education and workplace ethics. My name is Breakaway Ray. I like talking about the breakaway civilizations because we're breaking away from the one we're in now. You've tuned in to a live tarot throw. Happy Halloween! It's October 31st, 2025. Here is a special programming note. Later on today, 8 p.m. on the East Coast, 5 p.m. here on the West Coast, I'll be joining the legendary Rob Khalil at the Typical Skeptic podcast for a special Halloween program. Breakaway Ray shares 8 scares. Now, let's begin our tarot throwing. I got 5 cards for you. Let's go to the tarot cam. All right, if you're just joining us, you can request a reading for the second part of the show in about 30 minutes. All you have to do is type in all capital letters, tarot, please. You can also hit the top fans button up top. When you hit the top fans button, I automatically assume that you want a reading. Today, it's 5-card Friday. Last chance for me to use pumpkins, right? All right. You've seen the foil deck before. Here it is. I'm not going to use the foil deck for this one today, although it is a beautiful deck. It's on standby in case anyone later on wants me to use this deck during their tarot reading. And I can use any of the other decks that you've seen before. They're all just a couple of feet away on a shelf. So if you want the mermaid deck or the ethereal balloon deck or the lighter foil deck or the neon deck or the stained glass deck, which was my home field favorite, okay, make a note when you request your tarot reading. Meanwhile, moving on to our 5-card Friday, I'm going to use the Robin Wood Tarot deck. This is the deck that I learned from Matthew Mournian, Mournian. His channel is called Remember Your Mission, I think. But for sure, if you spell that last name correctly, you'll find him. I started taking tarot card classes with Matthew in March. He's a tremendous teacher. Got a great value for my dollar, obviously. It was a wonderful education. So congratulations to Matthew for being a great teacher. And thank you so much. And in honor of him this Halloween, I'm going to bust out the Robin Wood Tarot. This is another classic deck. It has a lot of the same elements as the one that I like to use over here. Okay. But you'll see that the imagery is a little bit different. So this is YouTube. I'm allowed to do an unboxing video. Bring it on, Breakaway Ray. Let's unbox. Oh, wow. I get to unwrap too. It's a brand new. Wow. And it does come. I like this little handbook, by the way, because you can see just by looking at it, they've got like one card right here and another card right there. They just use a couple of quick words to quickly explain the story of each card. So this was a very fun and easy book to use as I was learning more about tarot way back in March. Right. It's not my birthday, but you do get to watch me unwrap a present. Hang on. I might have to get scissors. Oh, I got it. Here we go. No, I ain't got it. Yeah, I do. All right. A very well-known deck. I mean, if you know tarot, you probably have seen this deck before. Here's today's version of the Fool. There's a dog involved. There's a cliff that he's not paying attention to involved while he plays his music. You know, what's he listening to his Walkman while he's at it? Watch where you're going, fool. All right, let's see what else we got here. Oh, the Two of Pentacles. I like this Two of Pentacles card. The guy's on the tightrope. There's a sailboat flying through the sky. But I just like the imagery with the clouds in the sky at night like that. That's pretty cool. Let's just do one more, and then we'll throw you some cards, everybody. 5 cards to get you going on your weekend for Halloween. Oh, yeah, look what I picked for you, everybody. It's the moon. What a beautiful card. The 2 towers, the 2 puppies, and the moon looking down. All right, nice throw. I can tell I'm in the groove already, everybody. Let's shuffle these cards. So we might as well say good morning and a happy Halloween to our friends in the tarot world. They're the ones who shoot off all the fireworks for me. Thank you so much for all the fun, helpful messages. We've had a great Cytober 2025. I'm looking forward to starting November, whether that's going to be tomorrow or Sunday when I like to do your weekly throw. I don't know. I don't know, KNOW. All right, but these cards are 5 cards for all of our friends tuning in whenever they're tuning in. But especially if you're tuning in today, Halloween, Friday, 2025. I'm up early in California celebrating before everybody else. And if you check the picture in the description, that's my wizard costume, the wizard from the future. Okay, 5 cards for you, everybody. Have a fun-filled, fantastic Friday. Happy Halloween. Let's have some tricks and treats. More treats than tricks, please. 5-card Friday. Here we go. Oh, yeah, there's no words on these cards, so I actually have to know what I'm doing. Okay, Breakaway Ray. This looks like the Ace of Swords. It looks like that lightsaber that kid's carrying around because he's dressed like Obi-Wan Kenobi. The Ace of Swords talks about the truth. I know that. I'm going to get the book out in a minute. No, I'm not going to wait a minute. It only took me a couple of seconds. Let's look up the Ace of Swords here. That's better. Hang on. I'm in the swords right now. Ace of Swords, victory. The seeker might be a champion, hero, or leader. We were just talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? Jedi Knight. The birth of a valiant child may be indicated. Attainment of power or goals. I think it means your costume is going to go over well tonight. Okay, next. Ooh, we start with the, is that a sword or a wand? I don't want to make a mistake here. That could be the Ace of Wands. I think it's the Ace of Wands. Nevertheless, I still like what I said, but the Ace of Wands also says there's magic in the air, right? It's Halloween. Yeah, there's magic in the air. Of course, there's witches and goblins and ghosts. There's magic in the air. Ace of Wands. And then the Two of Swords shows you, check this out. And then the Two of Swords shows you someone wearing a mask at night, parading through the streets with a costume on. The Two of Swords also talks about a crossroads, like when you're trick-or-treating with your friends, and one friend says, I want to go down this street first. And then you say, no, I want to go down that street first. It's the crossroads card. All right. Magic in the air. We're trick-or-treating. Which way should we go? Ooh, this is the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is that winner-take-all mentality. Let's see what it says in the Robin Wood Tarot book about the Five of Swords. Failure, defeat, degradation, winning by unfair means, trickery, cowardice, manipulation, a loss decreed by the gods. That's like when you lose a basketball game on a last second shot by the other team. You know, there's nothing you could do. It was a loss decreed by the gods. Also, regarding our Halloween story, there's magic in the air. We're going trick-or-treating. We're fighting over which way to go. But it's all going to end up to be a fun trick-or-treating night. Yeah, because look, it's the magician. This guy's costume is awesome. He's passing out candy. He's got a bowl. He's handing it out to you. The magician is when you're taking things from your imagination and you're making them real. So it's almost like Mardi Gras all around the world for people celebrating Halloween, right? Everyone's dressed up and having a good time. I like the party, yeah, because it's Friday. Come on. And finally, the King of Cups. That's how you're going to feel by the end of the night. All your cups are going to be filled. Let's see what the King of Cups has to say. I love it. The King of Cups, a kind, considerate man, a father figure, a person interested in the arts. He's balanced. He's a deep man with a quiet demeanor and quiet power. It's kind of like you went trick-or-treating. There was a lot of magic in the air, but let's not forget you were under parental supervision. And they knew exactly where you were. They were being responsible adults to make sure everyone was safe and had a good time tonight. I like that Halloween message, everybody. Happy Friday, happy Halloween. Let's give these cards a quick toss. And then we'll get into Breakaway Ray's discussion today. Okay, let's start over, Breakaway Ray. We're going to get into a discussion about two psychologists here in the United States who just passed away in the last quarter century. One is named Benjamin Bloom, and one is named Abraham Maslow. I see a lot of people who are writing in the chat right now. I want to say good morning and welcome, and thanks for joining me. Hope you're having a good time already. I am going to be showing you some papers from my files from my career in the classroom as a teacher, and we're going to explain what some of these things are. They're actually tools and instruments teachers use to organize their lessons, and then I'm going to expound on what I think the situation is right now. I got to practice not banging my own desk when I'm recording. All right, so we're going to talk about first a man named Abraham Maslow. He came up with something called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I'm going to repeat that. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And it shows that when you have a learner in a classroom, for example, they're probably not going to be able to learn much if their basic needs aren't met first. To put it simply, just to quickly think about it, a kid who goes to school and doesn't eat breakfast first, they're probably not going to give it their best shot. They probably won't be able. They won't have the power, the energy. They won't be enabled to give it their best shot. They're still thinking about food. We might return to that example. So anyway, I'm going to go back downstairs and we're going to take a look at some of the papers I found in my file. Thanks again for joining me, everybody. All right. Okay, so last time we talked about Madeline Hunter and her 7-step lesson plan, and I showed you how I had a copy of this in my grade book in case I was planning a lesson and I thought that maybe something was missing. I could always reflect on it with this tool and check off the boxes to make sure I had all these items. And I happen to have this one in another folder. I have copies of this everywhere so that I'm always thinking about completing my lessons to make sure there's no way a learner couldn't learn, right? Okay. And then I also, of course, found another one of these. If you teach across the curriculum, you strengthen the subject or skill that you taught because you're using other modalities of your brain to consider and practice with. You know, are you doing jumping jacks? Great. Can you count jumping jacks? Great. Can you grab a stopwatch and measure your heart rate before and after jumping jacks? Would you like to do a little history on the education of, would you like to do a little history in social studies, a little report maybe on physical education? There you go. Teach us about teaching PE in school. Maybe you'd want to draw a nice picture of someone doing jumping jacks. Again, and then you, of course, writing is up here. You're trying to present lots of different ways to explore the same subject so that it's rehearsed and redundant. And there you go. So I just want to show you I had those papers handy. Now, here's what I like. Because what I like about, I'm going to start over here. What I like about this paper is you can see that it's definitely old-fashioned copy machine copy, right? This is before the computer era. And also, look at what I did here. Again, I did this years ago, at least 12, 15 years ago, at least. Could have been more than 20. But I carefully held on to this. So what I have here is something called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I found this in a textbook and I made a copy of it. I think I even enlarged it because it was such a small picture so that I could quickly see what was going on and learn from it. And then I made a copy of more on that subject there. So I'm going to turn this over so I don't get distracted. Hang on. Now, regarding Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you can actually go on the internet now and see something like this, no problem, with full color graphics. And there's a lot to learn about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But what I'm going to do right now is I was supposed to do this before we started. I'm going to have to read this to you under my glass here so that I could share with you the very basics. Okay, so starting at the bottom, physiological needs. Has the child been fed, for example? Anything else related to their well-being and their physical well-being. Then there's safety needs. Does the child feel safe? Maybe the child is safe at school, but doesn't feel safe in some environments. Okay. There's the third one up called love and belongingness. For sure, that's a broad spectrum of things to consider, and anyone can fall anywhere along that spectrum. How much do any of us feel like we belong? And aren't we always measuring who we love and who loves us and our love network? Aren't we always considering that almost every day? On top of that, as we go up Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there are esteem needs. Esteem needs psychologically and socially. Is someone feeling included? Let's just pause right there. You could be included or you could be excluded. All right, moving up. After you have 1, 2, 3, 4, those 4 needs met, then you can address the next 3 going up the scale. Cognitive understanding. Now you're able to finally learn something new. And then aesthetic needs, where you need to demonstrate what you've learned, probably through art or some kind of exercise where you're rehearsing or demonstrating the knowledge or skill that you were supposed to acquire. And then finally, up at the top, it's self-actualization. When you build on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I'm going to repeat that. I want to make sure I pronounce words correctly. When you're moving up Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you get to self-actualization because you believe that you can reach that part. You don't believe that there's anything holding you back. You're not thinking about things that are holding you back. Self-actualization is actually quite a popular term. I don't feel like I need to explain it very much to anyone who's tuning into STARCARD podcast. And also it has a very self-evidentiary kind of definition. You actualize yourself. You are what you believe you are. You want to be a podcaster? Podcast. You want to be an artist? Draw a picture. You want to throw tarot cards? Get a deck of cards and let's try it out. All right. So there's Maslow. We're going to interrupt my regular lesson. How am I doing on time? All right. We're going to interrupt the lesson briefly then. I want to show you this paper, which, again, maybe on the internet, it would be no problem finding something like this that you can learn from. When we were in the classroom, there's this label that students could be labeled with. It could be gifted. They could be part of a program called Gifted and Talented Education. I understand it's called by another acronym in other parts of the United States. And a lot of times, in my career anyway, the teacher had to fill out the form. Each one took at least an hour. There's nothing wrong with giving an hour to help a child by filling out a form, but there's all kinds of politics involved. Let's just put it like that. And sometimes people wonder if their child was gifted and wanted to be identified that way, or were they not? And so this is something that you could present at a parent conference, and you could even give the parent this copy so that they could study it and they could decide, which side, which column is my child on? Is my child merely bright? I'm saying that tongue in cheek. Or is my child also a quote unquote gifted learner? So I will read you very quickly a few samples from the bright child and the gifted learner child, just so you can see the difference that they're trying to distinguish here. The bright child knows the answers. The gifted learner asks the question. The bright child is attentive. The gifted learner is highly curious. The bright child is interested. The gifted learner is mentally and physically involved. The bright child has good ideas. The gifted learner has wild, silly ideas. The bright child works hard. The gifted learner plays around, yet tests well. Well, you get the idea. Oh, actually, I can actually tell you where this came from. This is from Shanis Swabos, Swabos, reprinted from Challenge magazine. All right, so that was in my file, along with these papers. This is Webb's Depth of Knowledge. This is my introduction to Benjamin Bloom. There was another psychologist and educator named Webb who created this wheel, which also helps teachers learn. When you're teaching something, are you covering all these things? You know, these are all different areas that people learn and acquire skills and knowledge through. So I'll give you a quick sample from around the circle here from Webb's Depth of Knowledge. In the middle, this black square, describe, explain, interpret. And then around the square, level 1 is recall, level 2 is skill/concept, level 3 is strategic thinking, and level 4 is extended thinking. And then around the outside, they give samples of extended thinking and recall and skill and concept over here. I'm just going to give you a quick sample here. So for level 4, extended thinking, Webb lists design, connect, synthesize, apply concepts, analyze, critique, create, and prove. And on the other side, where it's level 2, a lower level, to be sure, skill and concept, okay? You're collect and display, you're graphing, you're inferring, you're categorizing, you're showing cause and effect, and you're identifying patterns. So a slightly lower cognitive skill. Here's some more papers I kept in my file that I probably never read. No, maybe I did. All right, ready for old school? Check this out. I'm the real deal, everybody. That's an overhead transparency. This is a taxonomy of the affective domain, but isn't that cool? The transparency, it's all see-through. All right, really old school. Okay, here we go. Finally, we got to Bloom's taxonomy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 categories. Knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and then evaluation. And that is more or less in order. That's so you can consider these things when you're trying to go through some cognitive skills. First of all, you list, you identify, you describe. That's part of knowledge. Comprehension includes explaining and summarizing and rewriting. Application is show, apply, write. Analysis, compare, dissect, deduct, analyze. Synthesis, this is the fun one. Create, suppose, design, combine, rearrange, what if. And then evaluation is self-judge and criticize and conclude and justify. All right. Then, of course, as with anything, how about a billion more pages to explain? Okay, but again, these, if you want to be a teacher someday, any youngsters out there, this is the for real stuff. Okay, it's not glorified babysitting; it's a science. All right, I think I got more Bloom here. Oh, here's someone took Bloom's stuff and made a wonderful flower out of it. All right, so it made it easier to read. And then someone put Bloom's business. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Bloom and Webb together, and they added some color. And it's just so it's so complicated, even with the color. But I bet it's interesting if this is stuff you're down with. Now, check this out. I'm getting ready for the show this morning. Oh, okay, wait. Yeah, I'm doing good on time. I'm doing good on time. I'm going to hit the 30-minute mark. So I'm getting the show this morning. I'm looking up Maslow. I'm looking up Bloom. And then I found out that there's actually like a controversy. Which one do you care about first, Maslow or Bloom? The general idea is you can't get to Bloom with all that industrial learning. I say industrial, like industrial size, industrial power. You can't get to all that academic stuff, all that cognitive stuff until you have basic needs met. You know, someone who's hungry and concerned about things outside the classroom and hasn't had their basic needs met can't possibly get to the cognitive skills that Bloom is talking about. Yet, I went on the internet. I guess you can find anything on the internet. They flipped it around and said, no, you could do some Bloom before you get to Maslow. All right. I just wanted to share that with you. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite the tarot world to comment on this. I mean, we're only commenting on how people learn, which was through teaching and lesson design last time. And this time, with the consideration of psychological and physiological development while you're trying to develop cognitively and academically. We're not considering, because here's another man I was going to introduce today, but we're going to save it for another day. There's a man named Robert Monroe, and he talks about some 40 plus different levels that our minds can elevate to. Things, again, that we're not told about. Anyway, you could look up Robert Monroe and the Monroe Method. There's an institute that follows his teachings. I think it's the Monroe Institute. I think it's out there in Virginia in the United States. You can learn more about him before I get to it. Anyway, let's go to the tarot world and see what they have to say just about what we talked today. The Bloom's taxonomy and Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Basically, we're asking, I guess the message is going to be teach anyway. Teach with gusto. Enjoy it. The more fun you have teaching it, the more fun those kids are going to have teaching it. Are you having fun while you teach? Does it look like you're having fun when you teach? Because those kids are going to say, this guy's having fun. And they're going to take, it's going to take their minds off of whatever's troubling them. They're not going to be able to wait to get to class next time and build and create and color and dramatize and learn whatever it is the teacher's all excited about, because that guy is just as much fun as the rest of us. I'm patting myself on the back. All right. Thank you very much. Let's go downstairs to the tarot world. Here we go. And I'm using my cheat sheet. I'm using the tarot cards that have the words on them. All right. So we talked about Abraham Maslow and his hierarchy of needs. He was born in 1908. He passed away in 1970. That was during my lifetime, my very beginning of my lifetime. And then guess what? Here he is, American psychologist Benjamin Bloom. He was born in 1913 and passed away in 1999. And obviously, I've been around since then too. So, is it Maslow before Bloom? Or is it Bloom before Maslow? No way. Let's see what the tarot world has to say. I think that's a good question. Is it Maslow? You guys like the lights better. I think I do too. What do we got? Is it Maslow before Bloom? I say yes. I know you got to get through your school day anyway. You got to get through your lesson. You can't be waiting up for one kid. So you do have to do a little Bloom before Maslow, or maybe concurrently. But that's something that, I want to interrupt because that was a good one. Wait a second. So you just saw my folder and all that hands-on paper stuff that Breakaway Ray learns from and did his job. And now I'm wondering, with the advent of artificial intelligence, what does that look like anymore? Would you say, hey, computer, go ahead and prepare a lesson on algebra for 6th graders and make sure you have an exercise in each part of Bloom's taxonomy for me? That sounds pretty easy. I bet the artificial intelligence could help you. Meanwhile, let's take a look at that Maslow situation. Hey, computer, what's up with little Johnny? He looks like he's having a problem. Maybe the computer could answer that question in the not too distant future. But it sounds to me more like that's where you need like human interaction and observation. Okay, I'm glad I got that point in. If I go back and edit this video, it's going to come out nice. Oh yeah, and I am wearing my Halloween tie. Well, no, I'm not. I'm going to wear my Halloween tie. I'm wearing my Halloween tie tonight. Sorry, no. All right, so this part gets edited out today too. That's my bookshelf tie because we're learning today. All right, let's go back downstairs. And then we're going to get to audience readings. How great. All right, here we go. Maslow before Bloom. Bloom and Maslow. This card wants to come out. Thank you, Tarot World. I know you're going to make this interesting. Maslow and Bloom. Okay. All right. Happy Halloween. Here's a spooky tarot throw for you. First of all, what was that first card that came up? Ooh, it's the Page of Pentacles. We're talking about cognitive development. Manifestation, financial opportunity, skill development. Okay, I just heard it. I said cognitive development. This is the skill development card. So yeah, we're talking about learning. Tarot World's on it, everybody. Yeah, there's magic in the air on Halloween. Check that out. All right. First up, it's the Ace of Cups. Yay. That's the very beginning of your opportunity to learn. You have fresh minds walking into your classroom, and you have fresh knowledge to impart to them. Yeah. And then the Page of Swords says new ways of communicating. A lot of times, I mean, yeah, I'll just say it. Over 33 years in the classroom, I'm sorry, there was never one single way of communicating to children that worked every single time. You were constantly finding new ways of communicating in order to match up, what the input you were sharing with their receptors. This is the learning process here. Yeah. And the Magician says you had to work a lot of magic to make that happen. Wow. So then the Seven of Swords says that there is something hidden, as I hinted at earlier, just before I threw these cards. I'm not sure, with the state of our technology today, if you asked a computer to analyze what was going on with a student in your class, that it could do that. It would require personal interaction. And probably we would all want it to be personal interaction. So let's be on guard. It is okay for us to be scared about that kind of thing on Halloween, if not every day. Okay, finally, justice shows up, which also talks about cause and effect and balance. And that sounds like Maslow to me. You're making magic happen. You're finding out what's missing, what the hidden needs are of the learner. And that's cause and effect. That's the real tangible part. This sounds like a Maslow leaning tarot throw, and it could be the tarot thrower's personal bias, huh? Anyway, final card. The Eight of Cups is the walk away card. The Eight of Cups says disappointment, abandonment, withdrawal, escapism, walking away, and leaving behind. You start out with an opportunity for learning. You find a new way to communicate to make the magic happen. Sometimes there's something hidden, and that might make a learner turn off and turn the other way. That's all cause and effect. But anyway, I believe the tarot world has given us its take, and we do have to consider all parts of the person, all parts of the learner, which means we definitely need to talk about Robert Monroe next time, Breakaway Ray. That sounds like more homework for me. Thank you very much, Tarot World. Thank you, Mr. Maslow and Mr. Balloon. Happy Halloween to you guys. Thanks for dropping by. All right. Let me give these a shuffle. Then I'm going to get a piece of paper. And it looks like there's a short novel in the chat today. I'm going to try to find all the people who want a reading. Here we go. I had a piece of paper. There it is. Yeah, I'm going to use this paper. Did you guys see my pajama bottoms? All right. How's it going, everybody? Yay. Thanks for joining me. So I see Puck Elf. Hello, Puck Elf. You hit the top fans button. I'm going to write you down for a reading. I feel really bad. The last show we did, there was somebody whose message I missed, and that person wanted a reading. And even there was another person in the chat saying, yo, Breakaway Ray, this person wants. And because there was so much writing going on, anyway, it got lost. So I apologize to that person. I hope that person's here. I don't know. I'm just looking at the chat right now. I see Julia is here. Hi, Julia. Thanks a lot for joining me. I know you were at the Halloween show last night on Rob's show. That's pretty cool for you to wake up early and hang out with me too. We'll get you a reading. Let's see. I'm going to scroll up now to see who else is in the show and who else wants to. Jeez. Okay. Hi, Puck Elf. All right. Thanks. Okay. I only see Julia and Puck Elf. There we go. So if there's anyone else out there who wants a reading, you can type tarot, please, in all capital letters, and I'll probably see it. But in the meantime, hey, I see somebody there. Arrayol. I think where's my glass? That's right. Hey, Arrayol. Nice to see you. I'm going to write your name down. All right. Okay, so I got Puck Elf, Julia, and Arrayol. All right. Here we go. This is for Puck Elf. Yeah, you're welcome, Puck Elf. All right, here we go. So how about a happy Halloween message for Puck Elf, way down under. Thanks for joining me, Puck Elf. Here we go. A fun, helpful message for Puck Elf, please. These cards are for Puck Elf. Yeah, these cards are for Puck Elf. All right, there we go, Puck Elf. Let's see what happens. Got my lights on. All right, the Three of Pentacles talks about collaboration and working together and teamwork. It says learning and building something. Wow. And then the Six of Wands talks about public recognition. So a lot of people are recognizing this teamwork, this building something, this collaboration, or whatever this is way out in the open. Some kind of great, I don't know. I was thinking of the World Series just now, but maybe you got some kind of team going there. Hey, it's a very comfortable spot wherever it is because you got the Empress card. What a nice team that is. Abundance, nurturing, fertility, feminine, good parenting, development, accomplishment, growth, evolution. Great. Congratulations. So lovely. What a great message. Being publicly recognized for the thing that you're building, this collaboration, and everyone could see it puts you in a very rich position. Yay, the Ace of Wands. It's magic in the air. New project, inspiration, urge to create, desire, power, potential beginnings, and new opportunities. Oh, nice. And then here comes the Temperance card. Everything's balancing out. That even looks cool to me. Like she's on the beach. Come on, she's got a foot in the water, a foot on the shore. That's pretty nice. I bet there's a nice breeze blowing through those wings. Next, it's the Four of Pentacles. Hold on to what's valuable. What is valuable? That is a good question. And whatever it is, hold on to it. And then finally, Yeah, this sounds like Puck Elf. Be the Knight of Wands. Charge energetically through life. I mean, you got all this great stuff going on. Knight of Wands, energy, passionate, inspired action, fearless adventure. Thanks a lot, Puck Elf. Thanks for inviting me to read. All right. Okay, so next up, it's Julia Anchorhaven. All right, Julia. How about a fun, happy Halloween message for Julia? I wonder if she's already trick-or-treating. I had a Halloween out in the UK once, back in the 80s. Back then, it was a bunch of American kids in a dorm down in Kensington in London. And we were all dressed up and playing loud music and having a happy Halloween. But it was kind of like out of the ordinary back then. It was just like kids from the United States did that kind of stuff. Yeah, you're welcome, Puck Elf. All right. So, Julia, this popped out first. And I was thinking to myself, Julia, that you're kind of omnipresent. You're on Rob's show, you're on your show, and then somehow you're also on my show. So thanks for joining me. But this is the homecoming card. It's like you're everywhere. So yeah, let's get more fun, helpful messages for Julia here. Tarot World can't wait. This is great the way the cards are popping out today. I wonder who's helping me out. These cards are for Julia. All right. Yeah, Julia, you make a lot of things happen for a lot of people. I'm deliberately being understated. I appreciate you so much. I love coming on your show. People should go check it out. I was on her show 2 times. All right, first up for Julia. It's the Tower card. Anyway, let's keep going. Oh, the 3 of Swords. But I'm going to turn it upside down because, now that this stuff is going on, we could go right on to the healing. I want to get to the part where we pick the scab. Okay, what's it say? 3 of Swords, upside down, releasing pain, forgiveness, optimism, recovery, moving on. That's right. Move on from this already. That's enough of that guy. All right, next up, because you're the Queen of Cups, Julia. The Queen of Cups, compassion, comfort, calm, nurturing, healing. Yeah, that's totally Julia. Emotionally stable, intuitive, ding, 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 and caring. This is all about Julia, all right. I don't know about this part, but I know that one is. Okay, next up, the Page of Swords. I believe you've had this card before. The new ideas, the new ways of communicating. That's you, Julia. Who else does what you do? Okay, the Hermit. I suspect, Julia, that only you know what's going on in your mind. And there's a lot of wisdom there, which you're broadcasting and sharing with everybody with your new way of communicating. And you are everybody's knight in shining armor. Look at that. You came from this part. And because your disposition, like the Queen of Cups, and your skill as a communicator and your spiritual light, okay, helps you to become the knight in shining armor for all of us. Thanks for coming and visiting my show all the time. Thank you, Julia. All right, next up. And Ariel. Okay. Well, Ariel, I'm pretty sure the Tarot World knows how to help you. So we're going to throw some cards. It's all for entertainment purposes only. But I'm going to ask for a fun, helpful message, something inspirational for Ariel, please. We appreciate your time and your help. Thank you very much, Tarot World. Great messages. Fun, happy Halloween weekend messages. Tricks and treats abound. These cards are for Ariel. A fun, helpful message for Ariel, please. These cards are for Ariel. Here we go. I think there's one more here for you. Here we go, Ariel. First up, thanks for watching StarCard Podcast, Ariel. You are welcome here. Let's see what the star card has to say. You know I want to read this one. Hope, calm, faith, purpose, renewal, spirituality, fortune, good omen, rejuvenation. The Six of Cups is the happy memories card, the nostalgia card. Wow, how nice. Familiarity, happy memories, reminiscing, childhood memories, innocence, and joy. They both kind of talk about joy here. Rejuvenation, be a kid again. Get back out there on the playground and kick the ball around. Because the Three of Swords is showing up again. Now, the Three of Swords talks about some kind of heartache. Let's see what the rest of these cards say. Maybe I'll understand what's going on a little bit better. Wow. So the Five of Pentacles talks about feeling forlorn and left out. Let's read what it says on the card. Financial loss, lack of mindset, loss, isolation, worry, need, poverty, insecurity. Let's move on because I don't want to take a look at an incomplete message. There's more here. Phew. But there's the Queen of Wands. And by the way, if it means anything to you, there's a black cat down there at the foot of the Queen of Wands. And you know what? I think that looks appropriate for Halloween, right? The black cat on Halloween. All right, let's see what the Queen of Wands says. Oh, wait. Okay, hang on. I think I see what's going on. The Queen of Wands, courage, confident, independence, focused, zest for life, determination, joy. So even after whatever that challenge was, it's important not to get too hung up on it. Every step forward, where you choose to be happy and think about joyful things, every day you do it, it's going to make this seem farther and farther in the past. But I will also point out that this could be turning out to be a Halloween message here. Because look, these guys look like they're trick-or-treating, like they're in a costume. The costume is hastily put together, and they're going down the street trick-or-treating, okay? And she says it's the zest for life, okay? Go out and have a good time on Halloween. Anyway, moving on with your reading. Well, it's a simultaneous reading, Ariel, because this is the Six of Wands, which is the public recognition card. The public recognition card, victory, progress, self-confidence. So let's finish for Ariel, and then we'll do the Halloween thing. And then finally, the Five of Wands. Well, the Five of Wands talks about conflict, but if we turn it upside down, here's what it says. Avoiding conflict, respecting differences, agreeing to disagree, diversity. So let's turn this upside down, and let's see if I can do this for you from the start. You're in a situation of rejuvenation and rebirth and inspiration. It's built upon happy memories. We'll just stop there. There might be some heartaches along the way, but you choose joy and you choose to have fun, and everybody sees that. Not everybody likes it, but who cares? Doesn't matter. Maybe you've heard this. If you're watching STARCARD podcast, you probably taken in one or two other podcasts that talk about spirituality. And the deal is, you know what? People don't like it when other people are having fun. Yeah, let's do this eye to eye, right? People don't always like it when they see other people having more fun than them. So that's their problem, isn't it? They could choose to have fun too. So don't get too hung up on anything that's bothering you. I feel like I'm really talking to myself. You could let that go by cracking some jokes and having some fun and getting out and doing something and take your mind off it. Build up your energy, your joyful energy to tamp down whatever it is you need to deal with when it's time to deal with it. And trust that your body will release that when you're ready to do that. Anyway, I hope I helped you with that reading. Well, let's go back downstairs to, no, I think we're good. I think it was a good reading. I wonder if there's anyone else who wants a reading. Oh, I see Lisa Talcott. Good capital letters, Lisa. Yes, let's get you a reading. Let me write your name down. I wonder if there's some other people out there. Yeah, we still got time. All right, Lisa. Thank you very much, Lisa. We'll get to you in a moment. I wonder if I missed anyone else here. Okay. Hey, Areo, you're welcome. All right. Good luck to you. Come back again real soon. All right. So I'm going to toss these cards and get a reading out for Lisa Talcott. Oh, I love that star card. Ooh, daylight's breaking out here in California. I can't wait till tonight. I am so excited. Get to see Rob K. That guy's so awesome. All right. Lisa Talcott is back. Just in time. Could we please have a fun, happy Halloween message? Something inspirational also for Lisa Talcott. Thank you very much. These cards are for Lisa Talcott. All right. Interesting tarot day. I wonder who's going to help out tonight. These cards are for Lisa Talcott. Here we go, Lisa. I wonder what Lisa Talcott is wearing for Halloween. Is it feline in nature? Just a wild guess. You have the Justice card. Balance, cause and effect. Also, very comfortable wherever you're sitting. Good thing, too, because there's the Devil card. Now that you're sitting down, it's time to talk about letting something go. Because there's cause and effect. Yeah, when you let something go, it's kind of like that hot air balloon. You let the sandbags go, guess what's going to happen? You're going to float. And the Four of Wands says the homecoming card there. You're going to float home. Yeah, it's going to like, and you're going to be right where you want to be. Cloud City with Lando Calrissian. Next up. Ooh, it'll be a new beginning, says the Fool. Wow. It's the Lover's card. This is so interesting. And then to confirm that, you have the Knight of Wands carrying an exclamation point. So I like it when the Devil card and the Lover's card show up, because if you look at them, they are opposites, dark and light. The two figures, the angelic style figure, the larger figure in the back, they're both there. So, you want cause and effect and balance and justice. Let go of whatever that was so that it's not even part of the equation anymore. And you're going to feel like you came home. You'll feel like a fresh start. You can fall in love again in a big way. Come on, Tarot World. Hey, Lisa Talcott, you're the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups reads, compassion, comfort, calm, nurturing, healing, emotionally stable, intuitive, and caring. This does not sound like me talking at all, but if you want love, you got to be love. You get what you show. You reap what you sow. All right. Thanks so much, Lisa. That was a lot of fun. I don't see anyone else asking for a reading. I do appreciate everyone coming out today. So I'm going to go ahead and close up shop. I also have to get things taken care of off camera. Thanks a lot for joining me, everybody. Have a great Halloween. We'll see you in November. All right. Stay safe out there. Take it easy.